Hello and good afternoon, or should I rephrase it and say good evening? It's about 6:30, isn't it? What time are we on? Yeah, I've got that right, 6:30. It's 6:30 and a Merry Christmas and a welcome to you all. Let's just get the cameras straightened out. There we are. Get everything pretty much sorted that we want. That one's right. That one there's right. The webcam. Right. Just move some of this junk. We'll put this on here for now because, well, we'll get a piece of this sandpaper because we're probably going to need a piece of that to just roughen up an idler wheel. Right. Pop that back in there. There we go. Shut the drawer. Right. I've already taken this apart, as you can probably see. Judging by the bits that are on the workbench, sort of gives it away a little bit, doesn't it? Right, so what we need to do is wrap these headphones up because we don't need these out. The sharp vertical's all finished, that's working reliable. I've had that on the last couple of days. I had it on yesterday and I had it on again this morning. That's working absolutely beautifully now. So that's hopefully going to stay reliable. If it doesn't, then we'll have to revisit it and make it reliable. It's as simple as that. But I think we've got it sussed. Anyway, I hope. Anyway, what we're going to do now, we're going to work on this Coomber. It's a model 393 cassette recorder. These were issued to schools. This is slightly different to the last one I did. Good evening, Byron. Good evening, Mike. Merry Christmas to you and your good lady, sir. And Merry Christmas to you, Byron, as well, sir. Merry Christmas to everybody, even. And Merry Christmas even to Father Christmas. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, what we're going to do here, we're going to disconnect the motor because we don't want to put voltage into the circuit board. How many volts is this motor? I'm going to say it's 9. It doesn't say. Where did it get off not putting the voltage on it? Oh yeah, hang on. Well, it does, but I can't see. It's round the other side of that sticker. We'll give it 9 because they're between 9 and 12. We'll give it 9, and I will do my best to remember which way the wire came off. Yeah, this is a different board to what's on the other machine. Now we can operate the mechanism using the bench power supply, so we can service everything and have a look at everything. So we'll clip that onto there. We'll clip that onto there. These are my power leads that I enjoy shorting out so much. Right, we'll turn the power up to 9. .2, that'll do us. What's that smell? No, it can't be off. It can't be off that circuit board. No, it's not, because we're connected directly to the motor. We're not on that circuit board. Yeah. Must be just the smell off the board itself. There we go. 9 volts. Now what the issue is with this, I'm going to explain. What happens is, now I've taken it apart, it's working. What the problem is, is the take-up table. So you can see it stops. And I thought it was that idler there, but it's not. So what we need to do is reduce the power. We can close that. What we'll do, we'll take they have a cut washer on here. We'll take the cut washer off and we shall examine. Is it a cut washer? Definitely not a circlip. Well, it could be. No, it's not. It's a cut washer. Oh. I don't like these cut washers. Let's try and find a smaller screwdriver. Make it easier to stick a screwdriver in my hand. Let's find a small. I've got this little hooking tool here. I might end up using that. Let's find something small. See, I have got screwdrivers and things that are the right size for doing this job. The only trouble is, try finding one when you need one. They're all the wrong tools when you need them. You pull out all the wrong ones. There's one. Right, let's put this stuff back in the drawer. Good evening, Mark, and Merry Christmas to you, sir. Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't want to ruin the washer, because if you ruin the washer, then you have to mess about looking for a circlip. So I'm grab it with the pliers. I'm not going to get that off with a screwdriver. Can't get it. Get to it. Nope, can't grip it. Try it with this tool and hope I don't stick it in my fingers. No, I thought I got that then. Nope. Oh yeah. I hate it when you just can't. Ouch. It's got to come off because I need to get under there. Because it needs to be done. There, I got it. Alright. That's it. Put that there so we don't lose it. I don't think that's the thing though. I think that's just the, what do you call it? I think there should be another washer there. No, that's the one. So what we'll do, we'll take this off, and what we'll do, we'll have a look, because it's like two parts, this thing. You've got your gear there. If I can go to the camera, would help if I pick the mouse up. Right, go to camera number 2 before it decides it wants to freeze. There we are. Right, if I just zoom in a little bit, I can show you what the internal part of the mechanism actually looks like. Oh, look at that, we're zooming in like that, lovely. There we go. Right, just hope it doesn't freeze. Now basically, should have left it where it was. As you can see, there's like a toothed gear on the bottom of that. Now we pull that apart. Oh, there we go. There's a spring in there, and that's what makes up the components. Now, zoom out a bit. There we are. Now, basically, you've got this is pretty well put together. You've got your tape. You've got your plastic disc there that runs on your idler. There, runs on your play idler. You've got your spring. Then you've got your gear that runs. That's for your fast forward. That's your play. That's obviously takes your tape up, and that's your spring. Now, what's happening with this is, I think, what's happening with this, I think, I don't think it's this side here, because this side here runs. Actually, it could be, because you can stop you can't stop that. Hang on, let me zoom out. You can't see what I'm bloody doing now. Wrong way. Right, there we go. Right, this bit here stops, and this bit keeps going. So basically, what the issue I think is, I suspect that the spring could do with a bit more tension, because the rubber pads, the little pads, worn down a little bit. So I suspect the spring could do with a bit more tension. So that's what we're going to do. Then we're going to pop the spring back into there. This could be a bit of an issue. Then we're going to pop that back into the there like so. Whoops. And that's how it's supposed to go. And then what we're going to do, we're going to hope that doesn't go flying all over the place. We're going to get the retaining washer or clip, call it what you will, and then what we'll do, we'll pop that back on, because that's what we would have done, but we lost it. Oh no, it's gone on. There we are. Now let's turn it back round so I can see what I'm doing. Let's connect our red wire back up, and what we'll do, we'll start the power supply back up. Now I can stop that with no problem. I can stop that, but the whole thing stops now like it should. So what we'll do, we'll also clean, as I'm here, we'll also give the idler a bit of a treat as well. Why not? We'll give the idler a bit of a clean. If we can get into it, that is. If we can't, then sod it. In fact, actually, if I press stop, fast forward, that's good. Now I can only use play, and I can't get into it. Can't get into that. We'll just put that on there. Oh, that's better. That little bit there. That's helped it. Just give it a bit another touch on there. Oops. Just get my piece of sandpaper back. I mean, this is all lovely and clean inside. I mean, there's nothing really to criticise or complain about, but I will clean it if I can find a cotton bud. There's a couple. We will clean it. Although actually it doesn't need it because this thing's immaculate. In fact, to be honest with you, I don't think this thing's had a lot of use. There's nothing on that at all. I'm just using a bit of, you might call it spit and polish. There's nothing on that at all. I mean, the pinch roller looks like new. There's nothing on it at all. I mean, I'm not even, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Right, well that's the mechanism fixed. So what I'll do, I'll pop a tape in it and see if it can handle the tape without eating me tape. We'll rewind the tape. That's play. But as you can see, if I turn it round, turning perfectly, not stopping. And that's all that was wrong with this. Jay said it was squealing, but it's got music search on this as well. You have to hold it down, but it's got it. Fast forward's working perfectly, good and fast. And I keep pressing the wrong one for rewind. And rewind's working perfectly, good and fast, which is what we like. So what we'll do next, we'll get the service hole 10, because don't buy that deoxit, it's shit, doesn't work. If you're going to use anything, use Super 10. Service hole Super 10, use that. And we'll clean this record play switch. The reason why is because when I did try this, it sounded a bit graunchy. There we go, it rewound that tape with no problem whatsoever. So what we'll do, we'll turn off the power supply. We'll take our wires back off. I mean, they're actually handy to have. These old tape, these school tape decks are handy to have. And the reason why they're handy to have is because they were made to last. Well, almost. I mean, they were made a little bit, and we've got right now a black wire went, you can put the black wire almost on any ground, but we don't do that here. We're going to put it where we took it from, which is there. Well, it would help if I glued the wire on, wouldn't it? See, I'm not adding any solder to this, there's no need. There's enough solder on the wires. Good evening, Harvey. I think that's you that's popped up. And we have another wire here. Another connection here for the red wire. There we go. Just check my job. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Why wouldn't I be? Hey. Then we've got to put this front shroud back on, which carries the tape counter. And I was wondering where that belt came from. I don't think, well, actually that's not it. I think that's the tape counter belt. But we might put a new one on. Right. So if I pop it, see, because that's got your writing and everything on it. Let's go back to all the camera views. I'll come and have a look at the chat in a minute, because I can't really read it from here. I'll just look at the icons and I can generally work out who's there. So what we'll do, we'll put that back on there. Yeah. I was just watching a documentary about the Beatles, the best Beatles #1, what ITV viewers thought it was. They all thought it was Hey Jude. I was watching it on YouTube, so it was quite old. I don't know when it was made, but everybody in ITV land, which is just about all over Great Britain now, because all the regional names like Granada and Central and all that lot, it's all gone, hasn't it? It's all just one thing now. But yeah, the #1 that everybody liked. And I think have I just made a mistake there? Can I feed the counter belt through? Yeah, just about. Let me just try it. I'll put the other 2 screws in. Yeah, I think we can get away with using that belt still. So what I'll do, we'll need to feed it through. Yeah, I should have put the counter belt back on, because it has to go through. I could leave the counter belt off for what it's needed, but I think I've just broken the switch. Huh? No, I haven't. I could leave it off for what it's worth, but do the job properly. So we can just take this one screw and just lift the side of the mech up and just get it under. If I can't, no, I'll sod it. Run the risk of breaking something, won't I? Maybe I'll just lift that up and get it now. No, because the counter belt has to come between the eject, the eject lever, the hook, for want of a better word. So what we'll do, we'll go on using the same counter belt, because it's only the counter belt and it doesn't really do any work, does it, as such? Right. So it's there we go. And it goes on there. And I'm sure it goes round like that. It comes up to the counter. But we'll see. Because I never really looked how it came off, I just took it off. That's what we generally do. Yeah, I'm right, it goes where I thought it did. There we go. Let's get our screws back in. Yeah. I had to take the bezel off because it was a bit bent and twisted, like somebody had a go at some point in its past, so I decided to take this off the bezel and take everything off so I could straighten the main metal bezel out, and when this goes back in it'll look like it should belong there rather than look like it was just stuck on. It'll look alright. But I do like these cassette recorders that come from educational places, because they've got plenty of mic sockets, headphone sockets. Not that you ever need them more than one, but they've got a few extra things on them you don't normally get. And that's the wrong screw, it's a silver one we want. And they generally last a bit longer than the rubbish that was available to consumers. I mean, this is an 80s and 90s machine, I'm not sure exactly. And you can also put a rechargeable battery pack in these as well. They were available because right behind there there's 2 wires that go in there. They go to a rechargeable battery pack. Now let's put this ribbon cable back in, because this ribbon cable feeds all this mechanism and we have to put it back in the right way. Otherwise, if we don't, the damn thing won't work. And that's a good tight fit, to be honest. That's really a good, oh hang on. Before we forget, because we nearly did. Slip this back in. If I can get it back in without taking the whole damn thing apart again. I don't want it to bounce down because I don't want the screws to pop up. I want them to stay flat, and I'm going to use a small screwdriver here. Just take these screws in. Oh, we've got that lovely. Yeah, that's lovely. Are we flat? Here we are now. There we go. Yeah, important. If you cannot insert a cassette fully, plug into the mains and press play. Press stop and insert cassette. The condition can cure if the batteries have expired, yeah, or are not fitted. Really? Right. You wouldn't expect the batteries to go flat without a tape in it, would you? Have I got anything left in my cup? Yeah. You wouldn't expect the batteries to go flat if there was no tape in it, so that's a bit, yeah. Out! Go on. You've been out, you've been fed. Don't mind for me. Oh, pardon me. Right. Now what we need to do next, may as well do this while I'm here. Give this inside this a quick wipe. That's better. Soft touch. Yeah, soft touch, and it should be soft eject. Yeah, it is a bit softer now. That damping could be a bit better, but it's a bit doesn't come flying down like it did when I first. I mean, that was all right to begin with, but right, this slides in. See, these jobs here are actually better done. That's it. That's perfect when the mechanism is out. Hang on. Move that one out of the way. Get out of the way. Move. There we go. Push that one in. Yeah, this is 90s, this. Definitely 90s. Because it's got that sort of 90s feel. And it's got fairly modern ribbon cables. That's a bit bent, that, so I'm going to try and manipulate that just to get it straight. That looks better. Yeah, that looks better. And that should just fit back into there. There we go. That's good. Whoop, there we go. That's just, see, this is all still a bit crinkled, this, but there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about it. It's the way it is. I mean, it wasn't the way it left the factory, but it's the way it is now, so. I'm pretty confident this is going to be alright, so. That screw there, that's got to go back in as well. I just hope that I can put that in. Now I put all this lot back in. Yeah, I can. It goes over the top of the take counter. In the good, they're actually quite good sounding cassette recorders. These, they're not bad. They're a cut above, you know, the stuff that you would buy from your local shop. I mean, they had to be capable of filling a classroom with sound. That's why they have a rear firing speaker, so the machine can face the teacher while he or she operates it. Right, so what we need to do next is put this, so we need to take that back off, I think. Let's just check. Yeah, just take that screw there out, because I mean, we didn't really need that piece of metal in. That's probably just a piece of metal he had lying around and had no use for, and thought we'd put it in the tape recorder, because it doesn't really serve any purpose. But if anything, it's just a bit of extra support for the take counter. Not that it would need it, because, but there again, you probably would get someone, wouldn't you, press dead hard on the button and break the bloody take counter. You know, it's like Clark and Smith. They put they put metal grills on their speakers, on their record players. They put metal grills on the in front of the speaker, so that urchins couldn't push their fingers through the speaker and wreck the speaker. Right, well that looks good. The take counter operates. I'm happy with that. Yeah. So let's give it the old test. Let's plug it in. I mean, we all know, don't we? We all know it's going to work. I mean, we all know that's not going to be an issue. Making sure the motor was going. It is, because it's nice and quiet. Don't know what we've got on this tape. Turning lovely now.
Good grief! Ranjit Sanders had a heart attack. Now, he's never thin, but even so, was he Essex? No, Leicestershire. In proximity to Melton Mowbray, that's probably what led to it. If he played for Durham, he might have got some fish down instead. Oh, maybe a bit peckish again. Let's see what's in the second layer. Oh, custard tart. I better say the message. Say what you like about the Portuguese, old gun. They bring their A-game to these little chaps.
Hey Ed, how's it go?
Just pause that so I can turn the volume up, because the baby upstairs is in bed. Don't want to wake him up. There we are. It's got a bit of a squeak, that, hasn't it? At least it's crackle free.
Yeah, just looking at your latest result.
Good.
Quite bad.
Should we try it for recorded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, let's see what we've got.
with these little chaps.
Hey Ed, how's it going? Bernice from Castle Hill Surgery. Yeah, just looking at your latest result.
Good.
Quite bad, I'm afraid.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, let's see what we've got.
Increase.
Yes, I know.
There we go. And I didn't have to change any belts. The only thing with these is, well, actually it's probably a good thing, but even when the machine's not running, the power light stays on. Just needs a good polish up now, this. Everything else is in good nick. Yeah, and it's got Coomber stamped all over this. I mean, they obviously made the board themselves and bought the mechanism in, or they had the boards made for them. But yeah, top-notch quality as far as I'm concerned. It's certainly better than the rubbish that they make these days. I mean, yeah, but this had a couple of screws missing, so we'll work out how it goes back into its cabinet. It came out, so it's got to go back in. Let's give it a bit of a jiggle. Just jiggle it a bit. There we go. Most of the screws are actually here. Don't know what that screw was out of. Might not have been out of this. No, that screw wasn't out of this. I would have seen it. Would have remembered taking that out. It's a flathead, so that must have just been rolling around on here. That's a... Oh! Where have you gone? There you are. And that there was out of that other sharp vertical that I stripped out of that other mechanism and nicked that switch off. So what we're going to do, we're going to put screws in. We'll put the screws in. Oh. Do you know what dogs do? My head is stood at the front door sniffing the bottom of the door. I'm going to let him out for a pee in a minute, folks. Just get a couple of these screws in here. Tell you what, let's get rid of that. That's one of those daft screws. Oh no, that's it, that's got it. There we are. We're in. We're in. See, some of these screws were already on the desk because right, so we're going to need a couple for here and here. We'll dig them out in a bit. Let's get this thing back together. I mean, these are like I say, these are quite good tape recorders. I mean I like them. They're great if you want to play your cassettes in the garden or the kitchen. They've got a dead long lead on them, so they're great if you want to use them in the garden or whatever, you know. Ideal for that purpose. Cause this had a couple of screws missing out of it when I got it as well. Probably had them missing when Jay got it even. There we are. But we need two more for the middle there. And what we'll do, we'll just have a look in the box here, because I've got a box of screws here because I scrapped. I'll tell you what are a good source of screws. Let's get two black ones out. Amstrad double-decker video recorders. They're a really good source of screws. So where all these screws in this box came from, because I stripped an Amstrad double-decker down. And I was going to put it back together, but I decided not to bother, and I just chucked it into the bin. But I decided to de-screw it first. It's an interesting word, isn't it? De-screw. We've got a piece of, what's that on there? Bit of swarf off somewhere. Get in there, yeah. That's it. I mean, there's all sorts of sockets on here for plugging different headphones and stuff in. You know, you plug all them headphones in all the way to from 1 to 6 headphones, and you can plug 2 mics in, and you can even send a tape out to somewhere else. To a line level device, it's a line out, line in. Well, that screw there doesn't fit that because it won't even tighten. So what we'll do, we'll get that one back out. There's no point in putting a screw in that won't tighten, is there? Let's even find a slightly longer one. Yeah, because that won't tighten. So I have got some in here. Oh, the Mildred. Hello, Mildred. Yeah, watch what you're saying. They're calling me a woofter and everything. I'm doing a video. Otherwise, if you keep calling me a woofter, I'll have to tell everybody that you drink horse piss. Oh, thank you very much, Mildred. Oh, lovely. That'll give me something to go through. Don't know, they didn't go from wings to anything else, did they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
I don't remember that. You know, I don't remember Paul McCartney, you know, I don't remember going from wings to something else. I thought they just disappeared.
No, Paul McCartney had a different label, I can't think what it was.
Yeah, I think he went solo after Wings.
Yeah, I think that's the one that what you call it about. Can't think what it's called.
Yeah.
It's on the same label as the Frog record, weren't it, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Alright then, I'll drop them off after when I've been up to the shop.
Okay.
We'll see you in a bit. Bye.
I'll see you later, Mildred. Bye, mate.
Bye.
Telling people I'm a woofter. Yeah, right, whatever. Anyway, he's a chocolate whizway man. He's a chocolate whizway man. Likes a bit of the old whizway, you know. Right, I'm gonna just let Scraps out, and I'll let him out of the garden for a pee, and I'll come back and then we'll sit and have a chat. But that's been a quick repair this evening. I knew it would. But I took it apart because I thought I'd turned the soldering iron off. I thought if I take it apart, at least then, you know, I can get it done quicker. You don't need to see me take a load of screws out. And camera number 2's froze, but there again, it froze about the right time, didn't it? Yeah, froze about the right time. I don't know why camera 2 does that, but it does. I'm not sure why. I've not quite figured it out, but I will. But only seems to do it when I'm live. When I use the video recorder function of this software, it doesn't freeze. It only does it when I'm live, and I don't know why. Right, so let's just swap that. Just take the camera back out. There we go. Put it back in, and that's it. I mean, it's not too much like hard work to just sort that out, is it? And the connection's dropped out. I hope it comes back on. There we are, we're back. My connection's up and down like a pair of knickers. Let's just go to the... Let's just turn that Wi-Fi off there. Turn not the Wi-Fi, turn the... No, it's still making no difference. That's really bad. That is really bad. The connection's really terrible tonight. Must be the weather or something. I mean, if they can't provide a good, stable, solid connection, why bloody bother? You know. Yeah, if they can't do it properly. That is really bad. The connection's really terrible tonight. Hang on. Must be the weather or something. Yeah, but it's still working anyway. It's dropping out, but it's reconnecting. So there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. It's down to them, innit? If they can't get it right, how am I to bloody complain? Right, I'm going to let him out. I'll be back in a minute. You know, if they can't, if the company I pay me money to provide me with a connection can't do it right, then there's something not right. I mean that's changing like there's no tomorrow. It's supposed to stay green, but it's not. So I don't know what's happening with it. Anyway, I'm not asked. I could really do with a faster connection, but I can't afford one. So. And I won't use Virgin because I got hacked. Somebody got into all my bloody shit. Come on, you. Let's let you out of the garden for a pee. Oh, bloody cold. Go on. Oh, it's freaking freezing out there. Oh, I'll leave him out for a minute. I'm not standing at the door, it's cold. Yeah, we seem to have settled down now. Now I've come back in the room, it's playing up. Wonder if I turn the Wi-Fi off on my phone, because I don't need that on. Wonder if that would help. I can't see it. Yeah. Right, that'll do. Right, let's turn that off. See if that helps, because that probably helps actually. No, it's still doing it. But it doesn't make any difference whether that's on or off. Yeah, it is tonight, Mike. It has to be said, mate. Right, let's catch up with the chat. While Scraps is out there, I'll go and get him in a minute. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, Byron. Merry Christmas to Mike, I've said. Am I working? Some people always ask the obvious, don't they? Am I working on a tape? Yes, obvious. Good evening, Andy and everyone. Yeah, good evening, Mark. Yeah, just going through this. Merry Christmas to you too, Harvey. It's just everybody saying hello to each other. And Mike's oh, you just bought a B&O Beocord 2000. I think I've got one. Have I got one of those? Beocord 2000s. Oh no, it's not. It's a deluxe reel to reel, isn't it? I've got a Beocord tape deck, which is really a Philips, and I imagine those Beocord reel to reels are just Philips as well. I seen a guy do one the other night. I got a guy with a YouTube channel. It's called My Mate Vince. He's not my mate. That's the name of his channel. He did one. It looked very Philipsy inside. So yeah, I don't think a lot of Bang & Olufsen stuff. In fact, I think very little of it. It's all badge engineered crap. It was supposed to have been made in where was it supposed to be made? The Netherlands or somewhere. No, Switzerland or something. I can remember back in the 90s, a friend of mine bought a Bang & Olufsen amplifier, and it actually had the J. Arthur Rank symbol on the back. Why? Because it was really made by J. Arthur Rank. I don't think Bang & Olufsen actually ever made anything. I think it was all badge engineered. I don't think much of it. I had a Beatles Centre 2000 or 2001 or so, which I traded with Jay. I gave him an old Xbox I had for that, and when I priced up the cartridge, it was 300 and something quid. I repaired it, and I hung on to it for a bit just in case a cartridge turned up from somewhere else. But at that price I was never going to do it, and Jay even said on the video he made about it, he says at them prices, he says, so I knew it needed a cartridge before I got it, but I thought, well, if I hang on to it for a bit. But eventually I chucked it onto my mate's scrap truck. It's worth a go, Mike. I mean, they look pretty easy to mend. I saw that guy Vince mend one, and he's not got a lot of experience, and he managed to get one going. So you know, but they look very Philipsy. My tape deck I've got, that's definitely Philips. All the connectors and everything in it are Philips. So you know, I don't really think much of Bang & Olufsen. Yeah, well, be interesting to know what you do like my Mark. But how old are you anyway? You know, because if you're young, then we all know it's you know, take this any way you please. But young people don't like decent music; they tend to like crap. So, you know, the Beatles were brilliant. And Mark, your opinion, you're entitled to it, kid, but doesn't make any difference. Yeah, I don't care what you say. Opinions are like arseholes, everybody's got one. But unfortunately on this occasion yours doesn't count. So that'll be treated with the contempt it deserves. Yeah, don't like the Beatles. You know, you're not hated for it, you're entitled to your opinion. You wouldn't cross the street, yeah, but look at it, they got richer than you'll ever get, didn't they? Probably done more than you'll ever do. You know, they amounted to stardom. You know, look where you are. Probably sat in a little bedroom somewhere watching me on a notebook. So there we go, you see. But you're entitled to your opinion. There's mine. Enough said. How can you respect your man of double standards as well? You don't like them, but you respect them. I don't like anybody. I don't respect anyone who I don't like. But that being said, you've probably never actually heard a Beatles record, Mark. You know, you've probably never actually heard one, or sat and listened to one properly. You know, you're probably the sort of person that if one comes on the car radio, you press the button and go to Radio 2 or somewhere. Or if you're young enough, somewhere up the dial where the frequency gets higher and the IQ gets lower. But there's nothing wrong with the Beatles, like I say. And you're partial to some Elvis. Oh yeah, you can't say that you hate Elvis on here, not where Harvey is. I mean, I'm not a big Elvis fan myself, but I do like it. I like his 50s and 60s stuff, but all that gospel stuff, I don't like any of that. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with Elvis. I mean, just think there are people born today and they're in their 20s and they've never seen a record being played. And I think they've had a very sad and they've missed out on something sort of life because of that. I mean, my daughter used to see them being played all the time when she lived here. I don't buy my records just to store them on shelves. I hope one day they'll become valuable. I don't care about how valuable they are. I buy them because I want to play them. But in! Let's go and get him in. Oh! Come on, you. Come on. Come on. Yeah. But if we're going to talk about CD players, yeah, CD players are rubbish. Every single one of them, I don't care who makes them. CD players are rubbish. They were rubbish when they started making them, they're still rubbish and they're never going to change. Don't think anybody makes them now, do they? I think CD's a dead format, innit, just about. The worst things they ever put on the market were them DVD players. They were terrible. You were lucky if you got a year out of one. Yeah, it was Denmark it was made of. It was supposed to be made, wasn't it, Bang & Olufsen, but it wasn't. It was just badge engineered rubbish. Bang & Olufsen, it was badge engineered rubbish. The later stuff in the 80s was made in Japan. That, what do you call it? That BO centre I had, it actually had it made. It had a sticker on it saying made in Japan. It was made by the Matsushita or Shista or whatever they call themselves. Same company that make Panasonic. It was made by them. And it had Mitsubishi. It actually had Mitsubishi amp modules in it. No, you do respect them, but as artists, Andy, but just don't like their particular music. It's not a hate thing. No, don't get you wrong, Mark. You know, but yeah. Anyway, hello, Bush Rank made in Denmark. Yeah, 2000. 70s Music Centre radio, yeah. It was all badge engineered stuff, that B&O stuff. It was aimed at people who thought they were buying something that was really, really expensive. I even had a Bang & Olufsen video recorder, and it was actually made by Hitachi. So there we go. Yeah. You know, but people think it's expensive stuff. It was expensive in price, you know, but it wasn't expensively made. you know, Scraps! Get away from that front door. I'll put some pepper down there, that'll fix you. Yeah, it does me head in when he stands at the front door sniffing the door, bottom of the door, it does me head in. I can't deal with that, it's annoying. If I put some pepper down, he'll think twice. Gets that up his snozzer. Mind you, I can't, I've got none. But he doesn't know that. But yes, I do collect Beatles records. Well, I've stopped collecting them now because I'm not really interested in getting the singles. Because when you do, they usually scratch to hell and been well played. Because that was what they were made for. But I've got all the LPs. I've got all 13 studio LPs that they made. I haven't got Magical Mystery Tour because I don't really want it. Because it wasn't a studio LP. And it wasn't really much of anything. I think the only tracks that were on it that were worth having, if I remember rightly, if it was Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields Forever, I don't think there was much more on it that was worth having. But it's the only one. It's only the only Beatles album that was issued over here that I haven't got. And I'm not interested in the American versions of records and German versions and. Oh, I've got 2 Russian versions. I've got a Russian Hard Day's Night and a Russian Taste of Honey LP. They were released in Russia when the Berlin Wall came down. How they found their way over here, I don't know, but I've got them. I bought them when I lived in Scotland years ago. Well, exactly, Mark. That's what it is. It's Bang & Olufsen. Bang & Olufsen was aimed at snobs, or people who didn't know one end of an hi-fi from another. That's what Bang & Olufsen was aimed at. It was aimed at snobs and people who wanted a hi-fi that was skinny and thin and unobtrusive. You know. Yeah. Hang on, let's. Where are we now? Yeah, singles and B-sides, mostly. Well, you tended to early Beatles releases. You tended to not get the single on an album. I have got some Beatles singles, but. I have got some Beatles singles. I do buy them if they're in good nick, but I don't buy them if they're not. You know, I don't want them to sound like you're frying bacon. I mean, and just about all of them, unless you come across them where somebody bought them to collect and never play them, or they've had a bit of play, but they're not too bad. Then I'll buy them. But I have got a few, but. I don't buy every one I see because it's a Beatles record, and I do like the Beatles, but I don't buy every one I see because I hope eventually that one in better condition will come along, and it usually does. I mean, you know, I'm gonna murder that daft dog. Scraps! Get in there! Now, away from that front door. I know you probably don't like me shouting at him, but I don't like him sniffing the bottom of the door because it's annoying. It's dead loud. And he does it when I'm asleep and all and wakes me up. Scraps! He just ignores me. We're there again. Why shouldn't he? You recently bought a new copy of Help and it has slight surface noise. No quality control these days. No, that's very, very true. Right, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Since we're on the subject, I will give you a quick look at my collection. Why not? If I can get them out without dropping them. But without dropping them all over the floor. There we go. Yeah. Right. Let's just move this. See if I can rest them on me knee for a minute. No, I don't want to run a risk. Let's just... Right, let's move this cassette deck because it's a cassette recorder even. Because it's repaired. One of the things is snapped off, so I have to wrap the wire around it. But I'm going to work out a way of sorting that out. But these are good little machines for what they are. I mean, I've got 2 of them now. I mean, there's a few on eBay of these Coomers, and they want stupid money for them. I mean, you know. Hang on, let me just sort him out. I'll cure him. I've got a towel here. I'll put that in front of the door. That might stop him. Move. I'm fed up of telling you. In. Go on. There. Put that in front of the door and stop the draft coming in and all. Let's turn that heating off. Right. Now, let's see where we're up to. What's Mark saying? Right. Right, what have we got? What have we got here? Yeah, you bought a brand new copy of Help, and it was, yeah, they are the new vinyl's crap. You're better off looking out for something that's been well looked after. Yeah, they are good sets then, from what I've heard. I've heard them. I think it's is it Polygram, the Polygram channel or Parlogram channel or something daft. That fella Andy, what's his face, that audiophile. He reviews them. But I like watching his channel. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, they have to be in good condition if you want to flog them. If you're going to play them, it doesn't really matter. Well, I disagree with that. 70s EMI Parlophone pressings are the best. They weren't. The best pressings that EMI ever did were in the late 50s, up from the late 50s, from the mid 50s up till the late 60s really. The music was the records were exceptional quality. They started going downhill in the 70s. That's what I find, but each to his own, I suppose. But yeah, anyway, I've got some old records here, which, well, some of them are old. We'll take a look. Why not? We're doing nothing else. Yeah. Right. There we go. Right. What have we got? all 13 of the Beatles studio albums and a few others besides. Right, let's put my glasses on. Please Please Me. It's not the most sought after one. The cover's a bit knackered on this, but I'm not going to play the cover, so I'm not bothered. This is not the most sought after one. The sought after one is the stereo one with the gold writing. This is a Parlophone one, the later one, only slightly later. This actually come off the #1 matrix, because it tells you there 1N. Tells you in the middle there 1N. That denotes that it come off the #1 matrix. So, and these actually, this has got 1 or 2 marks on it, but it needs a good clean. But it's got 1 or 2 marks on it, but it does sound really, really good, and it's still really, really crisp and clean. Because those marks that are on it, you can't even hear them. They're that insignificant. The stylus don't even pick them up. They're not actually deep scratches. Yeah, there's 1 or 2 scratches on it, but a couple of scuffs, but you can't hear them. The amplifier doesn't, the stylus doesn't really pick them up. Not a lot of surface noise on there, and what there is has been put there through people playing it with a bad stylus or something. It would have left the factory as clean as a whistle. I can assure you of that. Let's put these tools away. Don't need any tools out, we're not doing anything. I'll leave those 2 test leads up there because they belong to the leads I was just using to power that motor. Right, there we go. You see, move that soldering iron. There we go. Right, and with the Beatles, yeah, I've got that one. This one, I think, from memory, this is the N7 matrix. The reason why is it took them a bit to get it right, and the #1 matrix was damaged, and they actually had to recall the records because it was jumping on Roll Over Beethoven, and all the records were the same. I thought that was marks, and it's just dirt, just dust. These need a really good clean. I might sit and clean them. What I could do with doing is get one of them ultrasonic cleaners. And this is in very good nick. The cover again is terrible, but the record is absolutely nice. It's not bad. In fact, this is nicer than the Please Please Me one. And this is the end. Yeah, I was right. 7N matrix. It was cut by a woman called Hazel. I can't remember her last name. But because because the #1 matrix was faulty, and they couldn't, and it took them a while to get it right. So by the time they got it right, they were at #7. So that's why all these with the Beatles records from 1963. Yeah, 1963. They were all done with the N7 matrix. I know someone's going to come on and argue that. I don't care. But that's how they were done. Then we got the Beatles for Sale. Andy on his channel didn't really give this any on Parlogram. Didn't really give this a very favourable review. He said it sounded muddy, and I do agree to a point. And this, I bought this from a record dealer, and you know when you're buying them from a dealer, you get the record in a polythene packet. The sleeve is outside separately, and the record folder sleeve is outside separately. Yeah, that was an N4 matrix, a 4N matrix, that one. So, yep, but it's the yellow Parlophone label. So it is of the period. That could have been from anywhere. I think I don't know when they stopped using the yellow one. It was in the late 60s, 90s. I think it was in the late 60s. But this could be anywhere from up until the point when they stopped using it. But again, the record is in good condition. I mean, But when you're buying them from a record dealer, I bought it on eBay, it was definitely a dealer. You can tell by the way the record, well, it actually came like that, the record in there, and that was folded over, and the record was just like that in a it was all in a plastic record sleeve. And obviously I don't keep them in plastic sleeves because you have to mess about getting them out, and given that it has a gatefold sleeve, that's a pain in the ass in itself. But you know, we're getting these out of order now, aren't we? What I should do is put them down that way they're all still in the correct order. A Hard Day's Night, I think this is a late one. Yeah, this is a late one because it's a silver parlophone. I bought this off the same guy because it came packaged the same way. But this is a silver parlophone label, or white parlophone, white and silver, and that's got a mark on it there. It doesn't affect its playing, however. And where's the matrix number? Not that it matters on this one because it's 1. There's a 1 there, but there's no N next to it. See if we can see it on the other side. Because there's ways of decoding the records. I mean, this could do with a clean, to be honest. HL. Was that Hazel? Did she cut that one? I'll have to check. But that one's initialed. Yeah, but I dare say some people did initial them. There was a famous guy that did most of the record cutting at EMI, and I can't remember his name. Somebody up there knows. Somebody on here knows him. Help! This is an old. This is an old version. And this is the version you want to have. Although this one sounds a bit muddy as well. At least there's no surface noise. Well, not if you've managed to find a new old stock one, there won't be. And this one's pretty beat up, to be honest. But it does play. It needs a clean, but it does play. And yeah. And this probably came off the second matrix by looking at that. And that's got AO on it. AOP. There's a way of this. I think they're initials. But I'm not sure. The AO certainly is. Or maybe not. Or is it AC? It's AC on that side. What does that say? AO. It's AO on that side. I might be wrong, there might not be initials. I'll have to double check. Yeah, but I'm not bothered about having records. I'm not bothered about having original first generation copies of a record. As long as I've got the record, I'm happy just to have the record. Now this one's from the 70s or the 80s. Because this is on the modern EMI label. This is Rubber Soul. And this is on the modern. I've had this one I've had this one since I was a teenager. It's one of the first ones I got. And the matrix number is of no consequence because it's a 70s record. Yeah, it's a 70s record. It's a 60s record made in the 70s, but it was pressed in the 70s, and you can tell because that's a lot thinner than what them early ones are. You can tell by the thickness. What I do, I like to put them in so that they actually go in smooth because a couple of the covers are a bit knackered and they need to be repaired. I need to get some of that glue that you used to use in schools, that Pritt stick stuff. Need to get one of them and sit here one night and repair all the covers because some of them are a bit knackered. And I don't like that somebody's wrote on that one. I think it's written on in pencil, so I might get an eraser and try and rub that off. This Revolver, this was a new version. I think this is a late 80s pressing. I bought this new. I've had this for quite some time. Yeah, and you can see the plastic's the vinyl's a lot thinner. They go thinner the newer they get. And that was done with a C1 matrix. So, according to that. So they probably had another matrix made because they probably wore out the first lot. But Revolver, that's not a bad album. It's quite a nice album to listen to. What else we got? What some people say is the best Beatles album ever, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and I don't disagree with that. It is a bloody good album. It's a nice album to listen to. It needs a new inner sleeve, and I've had this one from new. In fact, I got this off. My mother bought this for me back in 1987 when they were commemorating the 20 years of its release back in 1987. So I've had this one from new. It has got a few marks on it. Of course it has. It's been played because that's what it was bought for. You know, I don't buy my records to just look at them. I buy them because I want to play them, and that's the whole point of them. I mean, I don't see the point of filling shelves with records and then not playing them. But it'd be nice to get an original first generation pressing of this, but the mono version, because the mono version was the version that was supposed to be released, and then the big wigs said no, we want it in stereo, and it comes with the cardboard cutouts, this one as well. They've obviously never been cut out because, well, I just didn't see the point. Then we come on to what's known as the White Album, just has the Beatles stamped on it. This is not an expensive album. I got this from the library in Edinburgh and forgot all about it. Forgot to take it back. Yeah, it's an original record from the period, from the 70s. This has got HTM written on it. So yeah, but that's this White Album, it's got I can't say I like every single track, but it's got a handful of good ones on it. But I can't say I like every single one of them. But that's the thing with albums, you know, you pick what you like on them. There's 2 records in there, I'm not pulling them both out. Then we've got Abbey Road. And people who drive up and down Abbey Road absolutely hate that zebra crossing because the Beatles made it famous. I'll come back over to the chat in a minute. This needs a cover repairing. It's not ripped, it's just come unglued. And the record is not in bad condition. I've had this one. I bought this record from the library in Wivenshaw when they were selling the records off. I had about 10 library tickets or something, and the girls in the library knew me very well. And when they were selling the records off, I got a phone call off one of them, asking me if I'd be interested in picking through the records, and I was the first person they phoned. Would I be interested in picking through them? And there was a lot of records, so I just said to her, yeah. I said I'll pop up. So I had to walk up there. I only lived up the road from it. I had to walk up there, and I picked a load of records. They didn't have a lot of the Beatles. But I picked this one. Well, I already had some. I picked this one. I picked this one, and I also got Let It Be as well. The Let It Be album, I got that. Probably a couple of others, I can't remember, but there we go. I need to definitely repair this cover. I mean, that's the only problem, isn't it, with these covers? At some point, somebody will put the record, and it wasn't me, because this cover's been like this all the years I've had this record. But people put the record in, and they don't put the cover in properly, and it rips the what do you call it? It damages the cover. It needs gluing back down. It'll have to get done at some point. But yeah, the Abbey Road. And this is a brand new album. This is actually a brand new. I bought this. This is Yellow Submarine, and it's actually on quite thick vinyl, to be honest. I thought it was a double record when I got it. It's not. It's pretty thick, surprisingly. Does it say what the thickness is? I don't think it does, but I bet it's not far off 80 gram. It's a pretty thick record, pretty heavy record, bit of weight there. And this is a brand new record. I purchased this off eBay not long ago. I've had this one a couple of months. I got it last year. This one. And take the record out. There we go. And it's, you can tell that's brand new. Look at that. There's not a mark on it. And I've only played it once. Look at the thickness of that. You can't. That's like the 60s ones. You can't bend them. Well, I say it's brand new. I don't think it's completely brand new. There's a mark on it there, goes right the way down, but it doesn't affect its playing. But it does play correctly, and you can't hear that. If you could, I would have sent it back, because that would have been disappointing. But as far as I'm concerned, if it doesn't affect my listening pleasure, then I'm not bothered. But that's in very nice condition. It's not exactly brand new, but it's not far off. It's this is the Let It Be album I got. That needs doing as well. I got this one from the library at Wivenshaw. I think I got that one from there as well. I got a few. I need to put an order in actually for some inner sleeves, and this has got a few scratches on it, but there again, it was from the library and it had been rented out, so people had this out, and you know, when I borrowed it, they actually marked any imperfections on the record, so when you took it back they checked it. And I remember this sort of curly whirly scratch here. Looks like an handlebar moustache. That was on it. It was on the card, and the girl the girl actually pointed out all the imperfections, and then when you went back, they checked it to see if there was any new ones, and if they were, then you got fined. You got a small fine, or you got suspended, and you had to take your stylus in every 3 months. Well, I used to buy a new stylus every 3 months, so I just used to show them a brand new one in a box. They used to have a stylus microscope under the counter, and I used to take my old one in and get the girl to look at it, and they were usually knackered. I just used to say, well, throw it in the bin. I've got a new one. I used to buy a new one every 3 months. I used to buy a new one, take it up and show it them. A collection of Beatles oldies but goldies. A collection of Beatles, oldies. It says somewhere on it, but goldies. I think it says on the back. Yeah, but goldies on the back. Yeah. This is a bit like a Greatest Hits album, probably before the term Greatest Hits. Yeah, this needs a bloody clean. Jesus, that's filthy. Yeah, that's really dirty. Yeah, it looks like it's scratched to buggery, but it's not. That's dirt. I might clean this one in a bit. Yeah. It's not been played for years. That side's alright. It's not been played for years. But this had all the what do you call it ones on it? All the hits. But 100% recycled paper. Now that's not the original in a sleeve you would have got with this. Yeah, there we go. And this is one of the Russian ones I was talking about. The other one's up on the shelf there. Believe it or not, the Hard Day's Night one's actually starting to delaminate. So I don't know what they made it out of. But this one's still in good nick. And it's cosmetically clean, sort of. Needs a clean, but it's not a lot of scratches on it, and it has been played a lot. It's not bad. But as you can see, all the writing, it's all in Russian. The singing isn't, obviously not. But yeah. Yeah, that's. Yeah, they were made in Russia. They weren't made over here and sent there. They were actually made in. They are actually Russian presses after the fall of communism. I'm not going to pull these out. That's just the Beatles. What came to be known as the Red Album, between 1962 to 1966 is all the stuff on there, and this is the blue one. 1967 to 1970 became known as the Blue Album, and these are actually old original copies. I'm not pulling them out. They are actually from the period 1970, I think, when they first made an appearance. And this one is the Beatles' real music from the movies, music from Beatles movies. And this is a Capitol record, so this must be an American import. I think it's Capitol. Let's just have a look. It says Capitol on there, but you can't believe what you see on the sleeve. No Parlophone, so it's a British one. Yeah, it's a white Parlophone with silver writing on it, obviously a black label. Yeah, because I enjoy collecting I've got my collection now, Anna, so there's not much more I can really buy apart from a few singles I might want. And this is the Beatles Past Masters Volume 1 and 2. I've had this from new. I bought this brand new. I bought it from that Time Life Music or whatever it was called. Bought this from them, and yes, not unlike most people, yes, I did pay for them. And this is a mono record, surprisingly enough. So I can play this on my mono record players. And the engraving, the serial number there is engraved very deep. Past Masters Volume 1. There was sort of stuff on these that you didn't really get. And they were very flimsy, very thin vinyl. Very thin records, really. There was stuff on these that you didn't really get anywhere else. I mean, they had a good look through the master tapes and said, "Yeah, we'll stick these on it." You know, stuff that you didn't really get. The two German recordings that they made of "I Want to Hold Your Hand" and "She Loves You," they're on there. Yeah, they're on there. Yeah, "I Want to Hold Your Hand." And there's a German, yeah, I can't read German. Yeah, and then them two are on there, them two German ones. The original recording of "Love Me Do" is on there as well, which is the one that not featuring Ringo Starr. It was a guy called Andy from Scotland who was the drummer on it, because George Martin wasn't happy with Ringo Starr's drumming on that particular record, so he replaced him with a session drummer from Scotland. I can't remember his name. Their name was Andy. I watched a documentary on it, and Chaz and Dave, believe it or not, even played on some Beatles records in the early years, because they were around forever. Chaz and Dave. I mean, I think was it Dave Peacock? Was that his last name? The Dave side of him's dead. He died a few years ago. But yeah, and that's what we've got. That's my Beatles collection. For those who haven't seen it before, I don't think I've done a video where I've actually shown every single record. I do remember doing a video where I've shown records I've just got. Let's see what the chat's all about up here. Yeah, it could. Yeah, actually, it could be a Greek one. It could be actually. I'll have to check. It could be actually. Yeah. It could be. I don't know. But. Right, let's just go to. Hello, Kevin. I didn't see you pop in there, mate. I was too busy going through them records. I'm just looking. Thanks for that, Simon. Yeah. Right, I'm just trying to catch. Yeah, we've all been cut by a single, Mark. Yeah. We've all been cut by a sharp edge single. But like you say, yeah, mainly 80s then, weren't they? You know, they were like razor blades, some of them. Yeah. Yeah, they were like razor blades, some bloody records. Early copies have to be good. Yeah, I read that bit. I know, Mike. But it doesn't matter to me that, because I don't intend to sell them. I mean, I'll keep them until I'm no longer around, and what my daughter does with them, she'll get everything when I go. So what she does with them, that's up to her. Yeah. Well, I can't agree with that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Moonage Daydream. I can't agree with that, because mono or stereo in the 50s and 60s, EMI recordings and pressings were so much better. Like everything in the 70s, the quality started to drop. Anyway, so I can't agree with that. But you know, if you think that way, then that's fine. You're entitled to. Absolutely. Yeah, you quite like the. I'm trying to just give my eyes a wipe. There should be a way of magnifying this. No, that's absolutely true, mate. You can't beat a bit of Beatles. Oh, Odeon German pressings, yeah. I haven't got any of those. Good evening, Kevin. That's 70s magic. It's nice to see you on, kid. Who else have we got? Yeah, we're all great, mate. At least I hope we are. Yeah, I thought I'd show you all my records. I mean, I've got a bookcase here full of them. I mean, I can't show you every single one, but I might get round to it one day. or over a series of videos I might show you exactly what I've actually got. Believe it or not though, I haven't got any Elvis Presley albums up there. Not because I don't like Elvis, I do. But I only like his 50s and 60s stuff, and most of them were singles, so that's what I've got. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, you may as well have may as well watch me while you're having a cup of coffee. I can't argue with that. Yeah, yeah. Stick a Beatles record on. You never know, you might get to love them, Mark. Yeah. Anyway, still waiting. The 70s magic always a good sign. Yeah. Yeah, you have some on the Odeon label. I haven't got any on that label. Not to say that I won't get them, but if any come my way and they're reasonably priced, then I will get them. But you know, I just don't see. I can't see the point of buying a different version of a record when I've already got the same one. I mean, I bought the Hard Day's Night because I had the Russian version, and the Russian version is starting to delaminate. So I don't know what they made it out of. But that was why I bought that. Yeah, Rubber Soul on a blue Odeon. I'm just going through the chat. Anyone like Badfinger? No, I don't like Badfinger. Who's Badfinger? Right, well you go and sort your missus out, Mike, and have a good Christmas. I'm sure we'll speak before then, even though it's only a few days away. I'm sure we will. But you have a good night. What's the rest of it? Give my regards to your lovely lady, and you stay lucky and have a very nice Christmas and a better New Year. Catch you later, Mike. Yeah. I'm just seeing if she climbed in through the bathroom window. Yeah, that's on the, what do you call it, isn't it? It's on the Abbey Road LP. Yeah, I wish she'd climbed in through my bathroom window. As long as she was decent looking and scantily clad. Yeah. Well, this is it, you see. They were designed to last, old records. I mean, new ones are not. You know, some records, you know, there's some records that my vertical player won't play because of that thing, the beam that determines the record in there. There's like an infrared beam, and when you put a record, it breaks the beam, indicating that there's no record in there. And if you use some of these modern records, you put it in, it can see through the record, and the record won't play. Yeah, Chaz and Dave were brilliant, Mark. Yeah. The Rolling Who? Yeah, the Rolling Stones and the Who, like both of them. Yeah, no worries there. You know, I like, you know, I've only really got records here that I will actually play. As you know, as most of you know, last year, no, it wasn't last year, it was early this year. I had a bit of a sort out, I had a bit of a, you might call it a cull if you like. I decided to cut back my collection because there was a lot of records up there that I was never going to play. And I sold them because I'm never going to play them, so, you know. But they were records that were bought as job lots. They weren't what I actually picked through and bought that I wanted. They were bought as job lots of records. That's how I got them, and I sold them. But I'd had them for years, and I thought, well, I'm not going to play them, so why not? May as well get rid of them. Right. Yeah, I have actually heard of them, but I haven't got anything by them. I've not heard from Steve. He's flying to America tomorrow, isn't he? I'll tell you what, I bet his wings will be tired when he lands. Yeah, you know, but yeah, he's off tomorrow, isn't he? Still. Oh yeah, I have actually. Did I speak to him today? No, I spoke to him last night. I phoned him up last night, spoke to him, and you know, and while I was talking, his tea turned up, so he shut off, get his tea. But yeah, I hope he has a nice time. I mean, let's face it, you know, he's bound to have a better time than we're having over here. I mean, if old Boris has his way, I'm not going to go down that road, but yeah, you know. I don't think there's much else to. I don't think there's much else to cover now, is there? I mean, I think I've been. At what time are we on? 18 minutes past 8. Yeah. You know, I think what I might do, I might think about disappearing soon. Because what do I want to do? Yeah, I hope he has a good time. Yeah, the White Album, I've got that. Yeah, it was called the White Album because the cover was white, and it just had Beatles printed in the middle of it. It never had a title, and it just got nicknamed the White Album. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't actually officially called the White Album, it just got that title because it's white. But I think they did what do you call it? They did an anniversary version of the White Album, and the actual records were white vinyl. I think there's one of them knocking about. But you also have to be careful as well, especially if you buy Beatles CDs, which is not something I would ever do. I have got their number ones and and I think I've got them 60s and 70s on CDs. 66 to 66, 62, 66 and 66 to 70. But the only reason why is because I was a DJ. And if you buy stuff like that, then you've covered everything. You've got everything that pretty much anyone's going to ask you for. Magical Mystery Tour I haven't got because it wasn't a studio album. Because they only made 13 studio albums, and the Magical Mystery Tour wasn't counted as one of them. And there's not really a lot of Magical Mystery Tour that I actually like, so I haven't bought that one because, you know, besides people on eBay are asking just too much money for it, really. Magical Mystery Tour, wasn't even officially released as a 12-inch album. It was actually released as a EP, the original version. I think it was the Americans who turned it into a 12-inch album, but it was originally released. I found that out watching a video on Parlogram. He was talking about it. That fella on there, he was talking about it, and apparently it was released as an EP. Oh, do you live in Liverpool, Mark? Yeah. Yeah, you actually got some, you actually got some plenty of female DJs. You know, that's of course if your ex was a female. You never know these days, do you? You know, you just don't. I mean, yeah. But when all said and done, yeah, I did DJing from '94, from '94 till up until I sold my gear. I had no work for a couple of years. I thought, sod it, it's no good sat there in the cupboard. All I've got left is my disco lights, which have yet to go, and an amplifier. But I'm going to keep the amp because I've got plans for that. Hey Bulldog from Yellow Submarine, that's another good one, yeah. Yeah, I like Hey Bulldog. But even Yellow Submarine, that's got his fair share of duffers on the B-side. I mean, it's the B-side's a bit crap really, but the A-side of the album's good. But the B-side's a bit nah. Because they went a bit funny, the Beatles, didn't they? I think it was too many drugs. And they went a bit funny, didn't they, in later years? Towards the end of their right. Yeah, you just never know, do you? You know, I don't have a problem with homosexuals. I'm just not one. But yeah, everyone to their own. At the end of the day, you know. You know, I won't go down that road. Probably some things are best left not covered. Especially on an electronics channel. I am thinking of setting up a current affairs channel, and that stuff, all that sort of stuff, can be discussed on that if I get round to it. I remember when Dave Lee was it Dave Lee Travis? Yeah, DLT, yeah, did Convoy. I think he's inside now, and he for messing with kids. Did he get done? He got done him, didn't he, for messing with kids? And that Fred Talbot did it all, and Stuart Hall. Dirty fuckers. Yeah, I think he got done, didn't he, DLT? I'm sure I heard something about it. Somebody might be able to correct me. But when all said and done, at the end of the day, you know, they get what they deserve, don't they? Yeah, absolutely. But oh, I've got the military coming. Got the military coming round in a bit. Dropping me a bag of records off, or box of records, so that'll be interesting to go through. The last lot he gave me actually didn't do bad, because he gave me 100 singles, and I think I threw about 25 or something daft away. All the rest of them I kept, but I went through them all. I think I threw about, you know, you know. But yeah, I did a bit of DJing. I used to have a laugh doing that. I mean, because I used to throw in a bit of karaoke as well. Because my unit could do karaoke. It could read CDG discs as well, and that was the whole point of buying it. Has anyone seen Abba the movie? Not sure. I've seen an Abba movie, but I don't know if it's the one. I've seen. I might have done. I can't remember. They tried coming back, didn't they, Abba? I mean, who once warmed up Abba? I mean, Abba were good the first time round, but they're all in the bloody 60s and 70s. Who the hell wants them nowadays? You know what I mean? I mean, come on. You know, they're not going to be as good as they were. They've been out of the game too long. They should have done what they should have. When they retired at the right time. They were at the height of their fame. It was starting to, the fame was starting to wane. They made "Thank You for the Music." We all appreciated it, and then they pissed off. And they should have stayed that way. You can't go away. You can't be famous and then come back 60 years later. Come back 30 years later, or 40 years later in your 60s and say 70s and expect to be just as popular. It's not going to work. But I liked Abba the first time round, but I can't say that I could get into them again. I mean, they're all old men and old women now, aren't they? I mean, who wants to stand there? Who wants to sit and listen to go to a show and watch them? It was like when they first brought compact discs out. They got all the old artists into the studios and they re-recorded all their old songs. I remember buying the Drifters 20 Greatest Hits on compact disc, and yeah, it did have their hits on, but they were all re-records. They got them back in the studio and re-recorded them when they were in the 60s, and it sounded absolutely horrible. I took it back to the shop and demanded a refund. You know. Yeah, Dancing Queen, you know, one of the most popular ABBA records that ABBA brought out, and it was, and even one of the fellas in ABBA, even he said you couldn't dance to it, you know. People tried, but yeah, that was always that was always a popular one. I used to get asked for that all the time. I prefer the Bee Gees myself, I will agree. The Bee Gees were far better, but you know, ABBA, they were basically, you know, they were just a hit making machine, weren't they? You know, they were a hit making machine. I mean, a bit like Boney M, only Boney M were fake. ABBA weren't fake. Oh no, they're great, but you know, but I wouldn't want to. Yeah, you know, you wouldn't like them on stage now, would you? I mean, but studio wise, yeah, they probably are, but you wouldn't want to go and see them, would you? You know, four old fogies stood on the stage. You know, they got one foot on a banana skin, the other foot in a wooden box. No, you wouldn't want to, would you? I mean, yeah, if they're going to make studio recordings, they'll probably run out of money. That's probably why they've come back. I mean, let's face it, they retired at the height of their fame. Well, they were becoming unfavourable when they retired. That's why they disappeared. But when all said and done, I think, yes, I haven't heard the new ABBA album. Is there one out? I think they have made a new one, haven't they? I haven't heard it yet. Has anybody on here heard the new ABBA album? Anybody say what it's about? Is it new songs or is it just a collection of their old ones? I don't know. I've not heard the album. I don't even know what's on it. Yeah, the Bee Gees were good. I mean, they were a cut above, weren't they, the Bee Gees? I've got a few of their albums knocking about here. Got some of their stuff. But yeah, the Bee Gees, they were very good. Boney M were good, except for the fact they were faked. Yeah. You know, Boney M were faked, and the guy who did Boney M was the same guy who did Milli Vanilli, wasn't it? You know, Milli Vanilli got caught. He couldn't fucking sing. Yeah. Yeah, Genesis, there's another good one. That was Phil Collins, really, wasn't it? I mean, you know. I mean, you know, I don't know whether they, you know, moving back to the Abba for a minute, I don't know whether they're new songs or whether they put new songs on it, or whether it's just a collection of their old ones. I mean, if it's a collection of their old ones, then who's going to want it? Because I certainly don't. I've got ABBA Gold 1 and 2. Pretty much everything's on there. So it really is a good listen, Andy. As you've been, and yes, Bee Gees fanatic up to my top 5. I mean, I'm not a Bee Gees fanatic. I'm not a fanatic of anything really. I just like and appreciate music made by good musicians. I can't stand the stuff they make now. It's all they are nowadays. They're just karaoke singers. I mean, every bloody one of them. There's no decent. You can't call them artists. I mean, that's too good a word to describe them. I mean, shit, really. Oh, the all new songs. Oh, it might be worth a listen then. Yeah, that might be worth a listen. I'll have to find somebody who's got it and borrow it off them before I purchase it, and then if I don't like it, I've not lost anything. Yeah, it might be worth a listen. Yeah, Peter Gabriel, he was in Genesis, wasn't he? I mean, yeah, Phil Collins. I can't remember the rest of them. They're the only ones that stick out, aren't they, really? Because they both had successful solo careers. Although Phil Collins, I think he's still going, isn't he? Don't hear much from him, but I think he's still going. I like 10cc as well. 10cc, yes. We could go on all night, couldn't we, really? You know, all these old records, all these old artists. I mean, but let's face it, you know, all the new artists, they're all rubbish. I can't think of anybody that I can honestly say that I actually like. They don't play their instruments anymore. No one really plays them. No new ones play instruments. They just stand there like Dopey gets on stage with a mic in their hand, just swaying about singing. You know, The only reason why the Spice Girls became famous is because every lad above the age of 14 wanted to bone them. That was the only reason. You know, that's the only reason they became famous, because everybody wanted to bone them. But, you know, there's not really anything. You know, I can't think of, 90s music. I've got very little 90s music. I mean, I've got a fair share of singles over there because I was doing discos, but I mean, when you're doing a disco, you've got to play what people ask you for. Within reason, that is. Someone asked me for the Sex Pistols, and I just said no. That's not going to happen. He said, well, I've got them all at home. I said, well, piss off home and listen to them then. You know, that was my answer. Sex Pistols, who the fuck wants to listen to them fuckers? Yeah. There are those who liked them. I can't understand why. You couldn't understand what they were fucking singing about. And they got stripped of their number one in 1977. God Save the Queen during Jubilee Week. There was during the week of the Silver Jubilee. There was no UK number one because the Sex Pistols had it, and they got stripped of it, and nobody else could have it. So they got stripped of it because it was called God Save the Queen. And the establishment. The 1980s, they made some good stuff. Yeah, the 80s wasn't too bad. You know, the 80s, pardon the expression, but it followed on from the 70s, and the musicians still played their instruments, and, you know, like the 80s, you know, we had UB40, Major, Dire Straits. I could be there all night, but there was a lot of talent. Yes, Ballroom Blitz, that always got played. But then again, that being said, so did Gary Glitters. I'm the leader of the gang until he got sent to prison for messing with kids. I remember going to a party after he got caught and the DJ put it on and everybody went and sat down in disgust. You know, but quite rightly so as well. You know, who wants to listen to him? You know, pardon the camera for shaking, I just moved my leg. You know, but and I just pulled on the wire that the camera's on. That's connected to the camera rather. Yeah, I mean, who wants to go and listen to Gary Glitter? I mean, you know, nowadays, I mean, yeah, it'd be as popular as a wickerwork seat in a nudist camp, wouldn't he? Oh, pardon me. But yeah, the Sweets Ballroom Blitz, cracking record, absolutely brilliant. A lot of their records were good though, I mean, and even the one that you never hear played nowadays, Little Willie. Yeah, you don't hear that one nowadays, but it was a good record. I mean, yeah, I like all that sort of stuff. I mean, I just don't like, you know, from like 1989 onwards, it just went rubbish. You know, but I think the best group of the 80s was UB40, or if I rephrase that, the two best groups of the 80s, as far as I'm concerned, was UB40 and Dire Straits. But there was a lot of good music besides that, you know. You know, yeah, the 80s wasn't too bad. I mean, yeah, I could put up with the 80s. Oh yeah, Mary Wilson's Telephone Man, yeah. I had him in the bedroom and I had him in the wall, and he got me in the bathroom and up against the wall. Yeah, that's the one, innit? That's the one. Yeah, and then after all that, he gave her a ding-a-ling. Yeah. Let me move away from this before I pull this camera down. Hang on a minute. Oh, I think there's a fly in here. Fine Young Cannibals, I remember them and all. Oh, Jesus, I wish I hadn't done that. That one's thick. Ew. Whew, I'll tell you what, more than 2 sniffs of that and you're greedy. Oh, that one is definitely thick. Blimey. Ooh. Oh, you got your Tamberg going, Harvey. Thank God for the belt. Thank God for the bolt cutter that arrived earlier. At least I'm glad you got it going, mate. Yeah, glad you got it going. I thought you might, you know. I don't think there was a great deal wrong with that machine, though, was there, from what you were telling me? Yeah, that was a bit of a thick one. Yeah. I'll tell you what, lads, you know where to come if you want any paint stripping doing. Yeah, that'll take the enamel off your teeth. Yeah, the Christians. Yeah, you're all starting to show your age. I'm not talking about music I remember from the 70s. Is you really, you know, late 60s and 70s, you'll really think I'm old. Mind you, I am old. Shaking Stevens. Yeah, your laptop just went background, backdrop brown, right. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Oh yeah, because you had that. You found that pin inside of it. You chucked it, and then after you chucked it, you realised what it was. Remember you telling me yesterday? Yeah, it's for the equalisation for the speed, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember you telling me, Harvey. Yeah, because obviously if the speed changes, equalisation has to, doesn't it? But yeah, I'm still learning about tape recorders. I don't know. I'm not an expert on tape recorders. I've done very few. I'm still learning about tape recorders. They've always been a bit of a blind spot. I mean, I'm getting over a blind spot now, but they have been a bit of a blind spot. Oh, Baccara. I remember Baccara. I got some of theirs. Sorry, I'm a Lady, and what was that other one they did? Them cheeky girls fell out of favour very quickly, didn't they? Because someone approached them somewhere on a beach and they told them to fuck off. So that was it. That was the end of their career, or their fucking father or someone did. Told the fans to piss off. So that was the end of their career. Quite rightly so. You don't buy a record from someone who's going to tell you to piss off. You know, people were after autographs. He told them to fuck off. So that was it. That was the end of their career. But yeah, Baccara, yeah, did Sorry I'm a Lady, and what was that other one they did? Oh, Yes Sir I Can Boogie. Yeah, remember that. One of my favourite singers from the 70s was Donna Summer. Yes Sir I Can Boogie, yeah. Here comes that man again. Shit, quickly get in, there's Gary Glitters up the road. Yeah, Jimmy Savile. Yeah. Right, so at least you've got. Well, it'll run forever now, won't it, Harvey? Shouldn't need doing again, not in your lifetime anyway. Well, they all got old, Simon. I think they all got old, Simon, and like everything else, just sort of withered away, I suppose. Right. I didn't know that. Well, I suppose we all have to eventually. I mean, you know. Yeah, Pan's People, they sang on Top of the Pops once, didn't they? They sounded absolutely horrible. And one of them even said, you know, we're dancers, not singers, you know. Well, that sounds interesting, Harvey. Yeah, the Series 12, Tandberg. The Tandberg never worked so well. Well, you know, it's been serviced, it should live on for quite a long time. Yeah. Legs and Co. We could be here all night, couldn't we? I mean, we're not gonna be, I'm going soon. But we could be here all night reminiscing about the good old days and the music that was available. I mean, today they don't know the born, do they? You know, the crap they get these days. I mean, it's spoon-fed, isn't it? I mean, you know, all they have to do really to get educated musically wise these days is just look a bit further down the years and play some really good old stuff that we had as kids. They soon realise what they're missing out on. Kenny Everett, yeah, there's a rumour that he had a thing with Freddie Mercury. I don't know how true it was. No, his real name was Morris something. His real name, I can't remember, but he used to work for Radio London. Radio London, as in the pirate Radio London, and they gave him the name Kenny Everett. His name was Morris something, I can't remember exactly. Yeah, you know, the old you know, the stuff from the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It was good stuff. I mean, not like the shit they produce now. I mean, the shit they produce now isn't it's not worthy of being put on vinyl. It really isn't. It's just crap. Who played Jesus? I don't know. Yeah, he worked for Radio London, Kenny Everett, because he applied for a job on Radio London and they gave him a job on Radio London. The Big L, as it was known, the old pirate station. Because when they brought out Radio 1 in 1967, they actually picked the pirate ships for the cream of the DJs, all the top DJs that were on Radio 1. I won't go to the trouble of naming them, but all of them, they all came from them pirate stations. Robert Powell. Yeah, Simon Davis thinks it could be Robert Powell. It's possible. I never knew who the Pan's People were married to. There's a couple of them Pan's People have gone as well, haven't they? A couple of them are dead. But there again, I suppose it happens, doesn't it? I mean, one day somebody will watch this channel and I'll be dead, you know? Yeah, he did Rod Stewart, did he? I mean, yeah. He... I'll tell you what none of you have mentioned, and I'm quite surprised. I thought somebody would have mentioned the Barron Knights. Now, they took the piss out of everybody, didn't they? I thought they were absolutely brilliant, the Barron Knights. I thought they were fabulous. No matter who it was, they took the piss out. I mean, these days, they probably wouldn't take the piss out of modern musicians. But I won't call them musicians, but they wouldn't take the piss out of these karaoke singers because they're beyond the joke anyway. But, yeah, I thought the Barron Knights were brilliant. I like the Barron Knights. I mean, you never hear a Barron Knights record played on the radio, and I think it's a shame. I think the last one they made was sometime in the 80s. I can't remember what it was, but I've got an album knocking about somewhere called the Barron Knights 27 Side Splitters, and yeah, I might even play that. I might play that tomorrow. That's not done the rounds for a bit. It's up here somewhere. I might have to go and root that out. Anyway, folks, listen, I was going to mute you and go to the bog, but I'm not. I'm going to disappear and then make myself a coffee and going to sit and watch someone else's videos. Anyway, listen, you all take care, and if we don't see each other before Christmas, I'm hoping we do, but if we don't, listen, you all have a great Christmas, have a great time, get pissed and be merry and all that lot, and really enjoy yourselves. And if we don't see you before Christmas, if we don't get together before Christmas, then like I say, have a good one, and you can be rest assured there'll be something very soon after. But you all take it easy, folks, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever that may be, very soon, I hope. But like I say, if we don't see each other, have a good one. Oh, I've heard Russ Abbott. I've heard Russ Abbott do the spinners. Yeah, and he did the four tops, didn't he? He called them the four bottoms. Yeah. Yeah. Russ Abbott was a very, very, well, probably still is, a very, very funny guy. In fact, actually, I'll just give you a quick look. There we go. There's one of Russ Abbott's albums. There you go. Let's have Russ Abbott's Let's Have a Party. There we go, folks. And this come out of Mildred's shed. You can tell because a mouse has started eating the paper, started eating the cover. That's why the cover's missing at the top. A mouse ate it. He had mice in his shed. Anyway, folks, listen, you all take it easy. And if we don't see each other before Christmas, we'll certainly see each other very soon after. You all have a good time, and eat well and drink well and be merry. And I shall catch you all later. Thank you once again for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, then by now you should know the drill. And yeah, I'll catch you later, folks. Bye for now. Hey, have we still got the mic on here? What have I muted there? Hang on. Oh, hang on, that's the wrong one.